Welcome back to my channel, Rider X Garage. Today, we're checking out one of the most anticipated entries in the lightweight street fighter segment, a Honda's 2026 CB300F Flex-Fuel. Whether you're a commuter, an enthusiast, or someone exploring more sustainable riding options, this bike has something fresh to offer. Let's jump right into it. So, the first thing you'll notice is the design language. Honda's clearly leaned into a more aggressive street-naked look, and it really pays off. From the front, the LED headlamp unit has been tweaked. It now features a sleeker, more angular profile that resembles its bigger siblings like the CB500F. It's got that modern Honda dash, sharp, functional, but still approachable. The turn signals are now slightly slimmer and integrated well into the headlight housing, giving the whole fascia a clean, crisp silhouette. The fuel tank shrouds have also been redesigned. They flare out just enough to give the bike a muscular presence without looking overdone. Swing around to the side, and the proportions are spot on. The bike looks compact but not underwhelming. There's a nice balance between minimalism and street fighter aesthetics. The new graphics package for 2026 adds a little more flair, especially with the Flex-Fuel badging on the side of the tank, which proudly highlights the bike's biggest update. The split seat setup remains, with the rider seat being well cushioned and reasonably spacious. There's a slightly stepped up pillion seat, though it's more functional than luxurious, typical for this category. The exposed frame, matte finishes, and dark alloy wheels bring a touch of maturity to the overall design. Ground clearance seems to be unchanged, which is a good thing for urban riders who often deal with potholes or tall speed breakers. As we walk toward the rear, you'll notice the tail section continues the minimalist theme. The tail light is now sleeker and fully LED, with integrated grab rails that blend in neatly with the design. The rear tire hugger helps reduce splash, and the upswept exhaust looks more refined this year, with a slightly deeper tone when you fire it up. It still gives off that signature Honda thump, subtle, yet satisfying. The rear indicators, though basic in function, do match the updated styling. Overall, the visual upgrades for 2026 are subtle but meaningful. It's clear Honda is trying to keep the CB300F fresh without straying from its core identity. Now, when it comes to performance, this is where things get a bit more interesting. Under the tank, we've got the same 293cc, oil-cooled, 4-valve, single-cylinder engine, but with the addition of Flex-Fuel technology. This means the bike can now run on both petrol and ethanol blends up to E85A, which is a huge step forward for Honda's sustainability goals. The engine's been remapped slightly to handle the ethanol blend more efficiently, and despite these changes, it still delivers around 24 to 25 horsepower and 25.6 Newton-meters of torque. Power delivery is smooth and linear, and Honda's slipper clutch makes gear shifts buttery and beginner-friendly. Out on the road, the CB300F is an absolute joy to ride. Throttle response is immediate but not jerky, perfect for city traffic. There's decent mid-range grunt to overtake with confidence. And while it's not the fastest in its class, it has enough performance to keep you engaged. The 6-speed gearbox is well spaced, and highway cruising at 90 to 100 km/h is comfortable with minimal vibrations. The Flex-Fuel engine also seems to handle heat better, possibly due to software tuning and ethanol's natural cooling properties. On ethanol, you might lose a tiny bit of top-end power, but the fuel savings and reduced emissions easily make up for it. Ride quality is where Honda's conservative engineering shows its strengths. The bike continues to use a USD fork setup at the front and a monoshock at the rear, tuned for comfort with a hint of sportiness. Whether you're gliding over rough patches or leaning into a twisty corner, it holds its line without drama. The chassis feels light but planted, and maneuverability in traffic is excellent too, especially important for newer riders. Braking is handled by a single disc setup at both ends, with dual-channel ABS as standard. The bite is strong, progressive, and confidence-inspiring, whether you're in the city or doing some spirited riding. In terms of features, not much has changed apart from a few refinements. The digital LCD cluster remains, but the readability has improved slightly with better contrast. It still offers essentials: speed, tachometer, gear position, fuel gauge, trip meter, and now an ethanol blend indicator, which is a neat addition. Bluetooth connectivity is still available for call and message alerts through the Honda smartphone voice control system, though it's more of a value add than a standout feature. Now let's talk pricing. The 2026 Honda CB300F Flex-Fuel comes in at approximately a superscript 1.95 lakh ex-showroom, making it a very competitive option, especially considering the tech on offer. The price hasn't jumped significantly from last year, which is impressive given the addition of flex-fuel capability. Honda is clearly positioning this as a commuter bike with an eco-friendly edge, affordable to run, easy to maintain, and now better for the environment. Plus, with ethanol being cheaper than petrol in many regions, long-term running costs are likely to drop, especially for daily riders. So, what's the verdict? The CB300F Flex-Fuel 2026 isn't trying to be the most radical bike on the market. It's not the fastest, nor the flashiest, but it's solid, stylish, and forward-thinking. Honda has made a clear move towards sustainable mobility without compromising the core qualities that riders love via reliability, ease of use, and decent performance. For urban riders, commuters, and newer motorcyclists, it checks nearly every box. And the fact that it's flex-fuel capable, that's just the cherry on top. Thanks for watching, folks. If you found this review helpful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more bike content, and let me know in the comments. So what do you think about this move toward ethanol-compatible engines? Would you consider one for your next ride? Catch you in the next one, and as always, ride safe.